All right, so today we're gonna talk about Dave East. Dave East is somebody that I've been listening to since 2015. The first project I ever heard from Dave East was the "Hate Me Now" tape. Just some of the standouts on that tape for me was KD, Nino, and then he had a joint with Pusha T. I think it's called "I Can't Complain," if I'm saying it right. But yeah, like those were like the three like standout tracks for me, but it was loaded. He had a whole bunch of like major features, so he was really starting to pick up traction. And that's around the same time he had just signed to like Mass Appeal and did the Nas deal. So you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if y'all understand like the climate of music that was back then. Like during 2015, like we was starting to like transition into the era of the SoundCloud music. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like all these new names were starting to come up. Music was really starting to change because you know what I'm saying. Like Wayne's prom was basically over, and you know what I'm saying. And as you know, during that time period as well, like the same three artists who are regarded as the big three were kind of doing the same thing then, and you could sprinkle in Future in that time period too. But for New York itself, Dave East was like a breath of fresh air, and he had me tuned in because I'm like, yo, like I haven't heard nobody from New York come out in a minute and rap like this. So he had my attention. And then I guess from Mass Appeal, he signed his Def Jam deal. And then that's when I think the next project that he put out was It Was Written, followed by the Paranoia series, and then the Karma series. And then he dropped his first album, Survival. And in that time period, he made Double XL. He was on songs with like bigger artists, so he was making his rounds with Nipsey. He had like two songs with Chris Brown. Um, he was on the East Coast remix with ASAP Ferg. East was on like a lot of stuff during that time period, and I really feel like when he signed his Def Jam deal, things started to kind of change a little bit with the music. So Survival, like first of all, I think Survival is a solid ass album. And I don't think that album gets enough, respect or credit that it deserves. It got some bangers on there. The joint with him, E40 and Mozzie is nice. Night Shift with Lil Baby is nice. Every Day, Penthouse, Baby, the song with Jaquez, like there's a lot of fire. Yeah, me and my man's like, yo, like if y'all haven't heard his first album, like Survival, I would recommend y'all listen to that. It was very solid. I don't think it really performed that well because it's Def Jam and they don't really know what to do with lyricists over there. But that's besides the point. And then after that, I believe he released Karma 2 after that. And Karma 2 was like really nice. Either Karma 1, that came before. But yeah, Karma 2 released somewhere. Wait, did that release before? I don't know. Y'all gotta go back and do it. But all I'm saying was that, yo, for the first official studio album, his debut, it was solid. Even though, it didn't have the commercial success that you would want it to have, it's like, yo, it was very solid. But then I feel like something weird started happening to like Dave East's music. I want to say like around 2020, during COVID, he released Karma 3. And I like the Karma 3. Something was different about it though. Like I don't feel like he was rapping with the same hunger anymore. I felt like I felt like his flow got lazier. Like it just wasn't I don't know, it was just hitting different. Like it's weird because it's like I still like that project, but it was just a different energy. Like I'm like, yo, like I don't know if because his voice changed up a little bit or what, but the energy was like real different. And I guess you could say that like started a weird time period, you know what I'm saying, with the music because if you look at everything else after that Karma 3 project, it's a little, it's a little dicey, and I'm gonna explain right now. So one of the main problems I've really identified with East's music is that he's dropping way too much music. Um, at this point, it's become like a quantity versus quality type of issue because outside of his own personal mix, his line of personal mixtapes, and then you know what I'm saying, and the studio albums, a big issue is that he has a whole bunch of collaborative projects too with Styles P, Crunch Calhoun, um, who else? He had something with Kerr. He just had a tape with Ransom the other day, and then just the singles and some of the features. Like it's a lot of music that he releases, and I feel like a lot of times that could cause a lot of issues because he's basically drowning himself out. And then when it comes time to actually drop a project, what ends up happening is that it might not be his best work or the energy just might not be there. And I like to compare him to somebody like G Herbo, like when it comes to like dropping like albums or just projects in general, because they're good enough rappers for you to give a project a chance, but some of it might not stick. So East has projects to where it's like, yo, I feel like he's rapping like it's good, but it's not hitting. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's still worth the listen just because of him being a lyricist. Um, the best example I could have for that was something that he just dropped recently. I think it was what apartment was it apartment 6E? Hold on, I'm about to fact check that. Let me see. Yeah, it's apartment 6E. Um, apartment 6E. It's a collaborative joint with him and Mike and Keys. Dope producers, but honestly, I tried playing it back because I heard it once, and there was like two or three songs I was rocking with on there. But I tried to give it a full listen the other day, and I really couldn't sit through the whole thing. I sat through the whole thing, but I ended up zoning out, so I didn't feel like I really listened to it in its entirety. But it just wasn't hitting, and that's the issue I have with artists that just continuously just drop so much music. It's like, yo, one project might be nice, but then the next one might not actually be that nice. And unfortunately, like he kind of stumbles into that category. So if I was really gonna like rank, let's say Issa's work and his whole discography, anything from 2015 to about 2020, 2021 were absolute bangers. And I feel like from the period from 2021 to like now, like he's had a lot of misses. Some of the, you know what I'm saying? Some of it just feels very repetitive. Like I remember when he first came in, he was writing songs like it was written on Carrie Chanel and what you call it, Don't Shoot and Keisha, and you know what I'm saying. And then he had a song on Paranoia 2 called Corey, which he was really in his storytelling bag. And I felt like somewhere along the lines he really lost that. Um he's not doing that like enough. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things that really kind of made him special because when he first came out, he was really doing that. If I could say there is a project to where I'm like, yo, like he dropped after that time period that I was really messing with, it definitely was the Hoffa project with him and Harry Fraud and the Book of David and Living Proof with Arab music was actually nice too. Um like I said, like everything he drops might not be a miss, and some of them might actually be heat, but you know what I'm saying, it's just not consistent because it's like, you know what I'm saying, like he just tends to drop so much work in between everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, yo, what are we doing? And then I guess the last album that he dropped, you know what I'm saying, getting out his Def Jam deal was Fortune Flavors the Bowl, which it's I like I said, it has its moments on there, but overall, like it's, I'm not gonna say it's a forgettable piece of work, but you know what I'm saying. Outside of a few standout tracks, it's really not that nice. You know what I'm saying. Which leads me to the new album that he just dropped, Karma 4, which is his first independent album, you know what I'm saying, that's fully independent, you know what I'm saying, with his label. And I actually think that album is actually nice. If I have any if I have any like complaints about it, it's probably a little bit too drawn out, especially because like I said, like yo, Dave East can rap, but he's not in his bag to the point where he's delivering like a lot of storytelling and, you know what I'm saying, like, and all of that. Like I just feel like it's just he's just rapping, like, you know what I'm saying, like he's saying something in some of the songs and the other songs he's rapping is rhyming, but it's like it's very forgettable. But for the most part, I think it was a good project, and I'm kind of more interested to see what he's gonna do now because he's fully independent, so he doesn't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, like, because I understand, like, when he was with Def Jam, like, you know, if we're doing a whole Karma 3, if we're doing Karma 3, and then, you know what I'm saying, like, Fortune Flavors the Bold, and then I feel like I'm missing a project out of that Def Jam rotation. Like, I guess you could put Survival in there. Like, yeah, the music was just a little bit, it was polished there. You know what I'm saying? He's mainly a street rapper, so I'm real interested to see like the direction he's gonna take. My only concern is like, yo, like he needs to be more versatile in the way he's going about his art. That's the only complaint I have regarding East. But outside of that, like he's nice. And I'm definitely gonna be waiting on that new you know, whenever him and Styles decide they wanna go with like a Beloved 2, another project like that, you know what I'm saying? I'll be all ears for that. I really didn't listen to the project that he just dropped with Ransom. I'm sure that's a good listen. But I'm pretty sure at some point I'll get to it and I'll sit through the whole thing. I only heard the song with him, Ransom, and 22 G's, which was, it was a pretty dope song, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. One day I'm gonna sit through it, and probably at a later time, you know what I'm saying, once this channel grows more, you know, I could get more in depth with these albums. I'm still trying to figure out how everything is working, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get no copyright strikes, so I'm really not trying to put no audio over nothing. Um you know what I'm saying? I wish I had it all figured out, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to grow. I just started this, and you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be in that mode of like, yo, everything got to be perfect in order for me to do this. Like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get better with the editing in every video. You know what I'm saying? So just continue to just, like I said, subscribe, share my video, and like it, and please comment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll comment back. I'm really trying to grow this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just want to give my authentic thoughts, you know what I'm saying, on just things in the music industry. It don't even gotta be album breakdowns of like artists, like you know what I'm saying. It could be different things, but yeah, like, share, subscribe. I'm out.